What's new at Charlie's? What's new at Charlie's? Still on Main. What's new at Charlie's?
Hi, welcome back to another edition of What's New at Charlie's. Today we got something really kind of cool. We got the hat trick of bourbon here. We're going to do 3 bottles at once. You up for it, Don?
You know, it breaks my heart, but we'll get through it.
We'll get through it, yeah. So this is, today's edition is the Thomas S. Moore. They're all barrel finished bourbons. We've got a Chardonnay, we have a port, we have a Cabernet. I know we've talked before on the on different episodes about barrel finishing, and that I'm kind of a big fan of that stuff. So I'm really looking forward to giving these a try, just to see what the barrels have done to the whiskey. So as always, I got my good friend Mr. Don Williams of Bourbon Fool beside me. How are you today, Don?
I'm good, Charlie.
And you're up for the challenge, huh?
I am.
Yes.
We're going to tough it out. We're going to tough it out. This one's really exciting. Chardonnay, you don't see a Chardonnay finish very much.
I can't say that I've ever had one. I've never had a Chardonnay finished bourbon before, so I'm really looking forward to that one.
So everybody, these are going to be exciting. They're going to be different, and we'll give you a little bit of history of Thomas Moore. You'll actually recognize it more by the modern name of Barton. So Thomas Moore was a couple variations of the distillery. It actually was Thomas Moore in 1889, and then became Barton, and then went back to Thomas Moore and became Barton again. So that's a little bit unusual in the industry, but we'll tell you a little bit more about how it got its name.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And it's in Bardstown, right? Did you mention that? Maybe you just said that. So
I didn't, but it is in Bardstown.
Yeah, Bardstown.
And it's really, there's a lot of historical significance. Thomas Moore was an early distiller, dates back to 1889. And his products in Bardstown were sought after. They were very good products, and one of them was called Daniel Boone bourbon. So he actually made a Daniel Boone bourbon.
That I've heard of before. I did not know that came from there. Yes, I have heard of that one before. Actually, I think there might be an advertising over there for Daniel Boone bourbon. If not, I have one somewhere. That's where I've heard of them before. So, yeah, very cool. So, I think I'm gonna start pouring bottles. If you want to go on a little more about the.
The other very interesting thing about the barrel finishing on these is typically when you hear about a distillery barrel finishing, a lot of times they will finish something for 3 months, 6 months, but these have been barrel finished for 2 to 5 years.
Wow, really?
And that's a very, very interesting angle on the product, and I'm anxious to see the result. It's going to be very, very interesting what the result is for that extra length of time.
Yeah, wow, that is a long time. Any information about where they get the barrels from, or what kind of?
I didn't really, Barton is a Sazerac company, and so they probably source everything much like Buffalo Trace does.
Yeah.
As far as where they get their barrels from and
yeah.
everything else. But the cool thing about the Thomas Moore brand is that when the Kentucky Bourbon Trail began, back when it was in its infancy, the Tom Moore Distillery and Buffalo Trace were part of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, the official Kentucky Bourbon Trail. It wasn't until about a year later that Sazerac decided to market on their own, and they were removed off of the official distillery tour.
Right. Yeah, that's something that confuses people, that they're not on the Bourbon Trail, but
right.
They're still the place to go see, for
yeah.
sure.
It was a company decision, and I understand why they do it. And interestingly enough, they're still one of the only 2 distilleries that doesn't charge for tours.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a different marketing angle.
Right, sure. They're the big guy. They don't really need them to help them. I mean, when it started, right? I mean, the Bourbon Trail was to get people to come down there. That's kind of gone by the wayside now. They don't really. I think you've touched on before in the old days when you used to go down there that people, they would jump up when you walked in the door and say, hey, you want a tour? And now it's like,
I miss those days.
now it's like, hey,
Really
can
did.
you give us could you get something in writing 6 months ahead of you coming down so we can get you through here, right? So,
Right.
yeah, it's times have changed down there. So, and you said earlier we were talking that it was the Tom Moore distillery as early as 2008 or as late as 2008.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
wow,
Right up in
that surprises me. Yeah.
right up until the point where Sazerac bought them. They kept him at that name for a year, and then they reverted back to the Barton name.
Wow, nice.
And the other interesting fact is the person that named the distillery Barton was Oscar Getz. And if anybody knows, Oscar Getz has a museum in Bardstown, the Whiskey Museum, and he actually was part owner of the distillery at a time and changed the name to Barton. And from what I could tell, Barton has no historical significance. He just chose the trade name.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. Well, let's see what we got here, Don. Let's. The first one there is going to be the Chardonnay finished. So we got this at 97.9 proof. Yeah. Oh, it does say on here extended cask finish.
Extended.
Yes.
Yep.
I didn't notice that. It's pretty small writing for an old guy.
Well, fruit forward, very fruit forward.
Very fruit forward.
And to be honest, I didn't know what to expect with the Chardonnay finish.
Yeah.
I actually told you I tried one quite a while back from another distillery, and it was so unremarkable I can't remember where I tried
Right.
it.
That's how good it was, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. This is nice though. This is really nice.
So that is a pleasant surprise.
That's really nice.
Yep.
Other than the little fruit in the front, though, I don't get a lot of. I mean, I guess I don't know what I would expect from Chardonnay. You know, I'm thinking.
It has
Yeah.
it almost has a floral effect, and
Mhm.
so the flavor is fruit forward,
Yeah.
but it has a nose of I don't know, flowers.
Yeah.
Kind of has that kind of,
I can see that.
and I'm guessing that is kind of the impact of the Chardonnay grapes
Yeah.
on the product.
Well, it's not where I thought that was going to go, but that is really nice. That's setting the bar pretty high for the other two. I'm going to tell you right now.
It is.
The next one we have is the port finished. That one is at 90. Wow, a little writing. 98.9 on this. Now ports, I'm familiar with those. Had a few port finished ones. Well, the most famous would be Angel's Envy, right? Isn't that port cask?
Angel's Envy has several variations. But
Yeah.
you know, the interesting thing is, I'm a fan of port wines, dessert wines,
Yeah.
and they're not good for me because you talk about a headache because of the sugar content.
Sure.
But I used to have a friend who called port wine the heroin of red wine. That's what he called it.
That's a good name for it.
See, so this,
So just, I don't know if you know or not. Do you know? Is it the same juice in every cask?
I'm assuming so.
Yeah.
I did
'Cause
not.
This is completely different than this. Completely different.
But that could be because the port wine has such a heavy effect on the juice.
Sure. Absolutely.
So I actually, surprisingly so, like the Chardonnay one better than this.
Yes, me too. Yeah.
Um,
This is good. This is really good.
Right. So this would be more strong. It's got tobacco notes. It's got
Yep.
almost
It seems a little dry. Does it seem dry to you?
yeah, like leather notes. I don't pick that up a lot, but I kind of do here.
Yeah.
So anyway, that one is in last place so far.
So far, yes. But let's see. good old Cabernet finish here at 95.3. So yeah,
It's the lowest proof of the three.
right. But now there's a lot of Cabernet finish ones, and I've always been a fan of those. So
Wow. It's sweeter. It's sweeter on the nose already.
yeah, right off the bat, yeah. It's definitely sweeter than, like I said, this one was dry to me.
Right.
Where this one's a little sweeter. But boy, I'm going to tell you, for my vote, this Chardonnay one has the most flavor. Which is shocking.
This is actually turning out opposite of what I would have expected.
Exactly.
Which is the great beauty of doing this.
Well, actually, just a little behind the scenes here, we did the Chardonnay first because we didn't think it would be as good, and we thought we'd work our way up, but I think we've gone, well, not backwards, but yeah.
Well, the interesting thing is if you research a little bit online of how these are rated, the Chardonnay comes in third, but for our palate, it comes in first.
Yeah, yeah, no, I think it's a fantastic drink right there. And they're all good. They're all great. These are a little more, I don't know, a little more, like I said, this is a little dry, a little more traditional than what you expect for that. But this is just out of left field, man. It's good stuff.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, it has the most overall flavor.
Yeah, big flavor.
Which
big
I
flavor.
which
Yeah.
I didn't expect.
Didn't expect it at all. Yeah. Well, shoot.
So in my mind, I would rate the Chardonnay 1, the Cabernet 2, and the port, which I was really thought was going to be my favorite, would be the third out of this group.
That's why we work so well together, because that's exactly how I would have rated them. So yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't mean that I'm not going to order those when I come into
Right.
Charlie's.
I would drink them, but yeah.
But right here, we just want you to know what we're tasting.
These are limited release. I don't have a lot of them, so I don't know how long they'll last. So, once we drink the Chardonnay, we'll work our way through the rest of them. How's that sound?
That sounds like a
All
plan.
right. We got anything else for us today?
I don't, and thank you everybody for watching, and have a bourbon when you have time.
Yes, absolutely. Cheers.
Cheers.
Chardonnay.